It's the Arsenal preview, and we're going to find out whether Carrick is better than Arteta.
Oh, God.
Hey.
That's come back to bite me arse, hasn't it?
It has just a bit.
Let's find out.
Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Arsenal preview. That is Joe Smith.
Yes.
And this is, I don't know, it's a weird game, innit, Joe? What do you think about this game? Because I'm feeling a bit like we're almost in a sort of no man's land. We've not quite got a new manager, but we have. But he's not in the dugout yet, so we've still got Carrick. So you don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to, is this the team we're going to see in the future? Is this just a team to sort of see out the Carrick era? It all just feels a bit weird.
It does feel weird. And like you said, the fact that Rangnick is officially appointed, confirmed by the club, but he won't be there, despite the fact that it's not like he's away. He's not like, once he comes back from international duty with whoever he can go. Like, he's just there. He's in England. He might be in the stadium.
Yeah.
He's the interim manager, but also he's not, because subject to work permits. There's rumours today, that he might not even be able to take charge officially till mid-December, which is just embarrassing.
That's such a specific date, mid-December.
Yeah, exactly. Is that when is mid-December? Between the 10th and the 20th, probably?
He'll take charge on the first snowfall.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the year.
At daybreak.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah, it is a little
he
bit...
He takes charge when the solstice is at its doom. Like, what? So, yeah, he's not in charge, but he also is in charge. Carrick is in charge, but he also isn't in charge.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
I saw rumours as well saying that
Rangnick
might sort of like play a part in picking the team, play a part in that, but then he's not like if you're willing to let him do that, and I keep saying this, and someone at home, let me know why they can't do this. He's been confirmed officially. Obviously, he hasn't started work yet because of the work permit, but can a man who is just simply on holiday in England not sit in the dugout at a Manchester United game? There's no law which seat you like. A fan can just sit in the dugout if they wanted to. It's just another seat with a brick wall around it.
Yeah.
Can he not sit in there on his holiday and dictate to the team as a holidaying man to this isle of ours? Why does he have to sit in the director's box? Let him sit in the dugout. Just because he's not getting paid for it, don't mean he can't be there. I don't get that.
Do you reckon as well, like, Carrick's picked the team, Ralph will go, what's your team? Oh, you've gone with that. You've gone.
Well, I was just because I was.
You've gone with Eric Bailly in defence.
Well, I have for now. But what were you thinking anyway?
You've not put Cavani in there.
No, I have. No, this piece of paper.
Oh right. I just thought
who won't
bit
play.
weird that you haven't gone 4-2-3-1.
4-2. What?
I thought that would be the most obvious thing to do. You know.
In an interesting way, currently, Carrick is Carrick is assistant to Rangnick currently because Rangnick is the new manager. Yeah. But he's also Rangnick's boss because Carrick is the manager and Rangnick isn't. So what is going who
this is just
who leads that
typical
conversation?
United. No one knows what's going on.
Also, Tuchel got a job and work permits and signed post Brexit. All that shit. Yeah, but in a second.
But he was a free agent, wasn't he? And Rangnick was at Locomotive.
So what's that got to do with it?
I'm not. I don't know. I just wonder. Let's not forget, we signed Edinson Cavani when he was a free agent, and we still couldn't get him in time for the Newcastle game.
I honestly
because we waited too long. Everything we do is farcical.
I think our people just don't know how to fill forms in and stuff. I bet there's like a fast track way that we don't know how to do. Yeah. I bet Woodward's literally stood in a queue at the German embassy going, "Can you have this work permit?" I'm
like, you don't need to send that in here. You do it all online now.
I queued up for 20 hours.
Oh, no.
I shit myself in queue. Can go home.
Get out, Ed. I've got it signed.
So anyway, Carrick's the boss. Yeah. Rangnick's also the boss. And therefore, Carrick is currently his own
Schrodinger's
boss.
Coach.
Yeah, Schrodinger's assistant manager. Carrick is the assistant to himself currently.
With that in mind.
Sorry.
He's got some... He's technically, and it's all technical because we don't really know what's going on, he's got some big decisions to make. Yeah. None more so than Cristiano Ronaldo. And it seems really weird to say this about arguably the greatest player ever to kick a football, but it almost feels like he's got something to prove this week because of what went on against Chelsea. Obviously, didn't start. He came on, and I'm not blaming him or anything, but we didn't win. We were winning. We didn't win. Then we had the whole Ballon d'Or debacle. Not that he didn't win it, but there was this sort of spat that he had with one of the organisers where he was accused of this and he sort of spat back that he never said that and he wasn't sort of angry that Messi had got it or whatever. So it just feels like it's been a bit of a weird week for Cristiano Ronaldo, and maybe he could, have something to sort of, like I said earlier, something to prove.
I think he does. And I also think, not just from what we've seen in the last week, but also looking forward, there's been so much speculation on will he fit under Rangnick's system. Yeah. Rangnick in the past has said Messi and Ronaldo are too old to play pressing systems. Yeah. He said that. Now that remains to be seen when you're actually managing a team with him in it. Yeah. Do you sort of stand by your word and get rid of him, or do you find a way around it and fit in one of the best players of all time? I don't know, but it's also interesting that Carrick didn't pick him, because that's not Rangnick, is it?
No.
Carrick didn't pick him against Chelsea. That's nothing to do with Ralph Rangnick. That's Michael Carrick, who has seen him. There was a time when Ollie dropped him as well. Who was that against again?
That's Everton.
So he has been dropped a few times, and not necessarily dropped as in, you're out, mate, bad performances, but at certain key times, two managers and potentially a third manager, not trying to assume what Rangnick's going to do, but that's the speculation, have decided this isn't the right game for him. He's not this sort of necessarily the same kind of ubiquitous first name on the team sheet as he once was, but he's 36. How many 36-year-olds do you ever have this conversation about? Where it's like, I can't think in my life, excluding goalkeepers, how many undroppable 36-year-olds I've ever seen. And Ronaldo's probably the closest to that I've ever seen. So the fact that we're even having this conversation, is he undroppable when he's, pushing 40, he'll be 37 in March. Yeah. Like, before the end of the season, he's 37. And we're still saying, is he undroppable? It's a credit to him. But also, I don't think this team should be Cristiano Ronaldo FC. I understand that he's great and he's come back, but this whole thing of he's doing us a favour by being here, you're not really doing anyone a favour that's paying you 500 grand a week, regardless of who you are. And, I know it's Cristiano Ronaldo and he's great and he's basically single-handedly got us out of the Champions League group and all that sort of stuff, and he's been excellent this season. But I think if he plays, it should be because it's the right system for him. He's performing well in training. He's performing well in matches. And if he doesn't, and he doesn't do those things, then he shouldn't play. He's not anyone other than a footballer for Man United, just happens to be an incredibly famous one.
It just seems like a bit of an easy way to sort of to pinpoint United's problems on one person.
Yeah.
Although it's Ronaldo. It's not Ronaldo's fault our defence has been shambolic.
Absolutely.
That's got nothing to do with it. And it's not because he's not defending from the front. It's awful defending.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at some of the goals we've conceded, it's people just switching off at the wrong time in defence. That's nothing to do with Ronaldo at all. And you can't blame him for that. And also, like you say, he scored a load of goals in the Champions League, almost single-handedly got us out of the group. He has scored in the Premier League quite sort of consistently. He's scored, I think, 4 goals, whatever it is, in the Premier League. He's not like he's only scored in Europe. And I think it's just, it's all Ronaldo. Ronaldo's the issue. It isn't. It's a problem that perhaps Rangnick's got to solve in terms of getting the best out of Ronaldo and playing his pressing system that he wants. But it's a nice problem for him to have, because you've got one of the greatest players ever, and you've got, obviously, this Manchester United team. And also, I think that when Rangnick said those things about Ronaldo, he might have been saying them, like, he might have been sort of looking at it and going, okay, this is my honest opinion, but I don't think he ever expected to be managing him.
No.
I don't think he's ever going like, well, now I've got to manage him. Do I still feel the same way? Actually, no, I don't, because I want him to play for me, so I'm going to have to adjust. So it is a weird one, but I still think, for me, and other people may disagree, and we'll get to my team in a minute, I just think if Ronaldo's fit and he's available, I'd play him. And I understand that against Chelsea, it works with Rashford and Sancho. That certainly works for me. Actually, I thought it was a bit strange that Sancho came off, because I thought he was playing really well and getting him behind Chelsea and causing him all sorts of problems. And that just didn't quite happen when Ronaldo came on. Similarly to Everton when he came on. I think it was the Everton game when he came on, where Martial gave us a lead, and Cavani, I think Martial were playing really well, and then we changed it and it just didn't quite have that rhythm. So it's a weird one with Ronaldo, the sort of way that he's being blamed, and now there's still this sort of doubt almost about, is he a success this time round at Manchester United? With all that in mind, give us your team, your predicted 11 for the Carrick era. If you can,
the final, well,
we don't know. It might be
who knows?
The second of 10 games for Michael Carrick. We don't know what's going on.
So it's De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire coming back, and Telles. Again, I'm predicting this. I think Maguire will come back in. He's had a week off, which he's probably needed, not a full week off, but Tuesday to when was it? Last Tuesday to this Thursday. It's more than a week off, actually. And then I just think he is favoured over by
Yeah.
Whether Bailly had a bad game or not, which he didn't, but I don't think it matters necessarily to Carrick. I think Maguire is the preferred player. Tellez, I don't think he deserves to be dropped after his performance against Chelsea. I thought he was pretty solid. And then I've gone with Fred and Matic. Again, Matic doesn't deserve to be dropped after that Chelsea game. I thought he
sort of
really
underrated. Well. Me and you were watching the game together, and we were praising him, and most of the praise online seemed to be from other players. Like Fred was getting a bit of praise. I know he's got a bit of stick for that shit, but he's getting a lot of praise. McTominay, I think, got man of the match officially.
Which is weird.
And I think De Gea got one of the man of the matches for maybe the club or whatever, the website. But Matic, I was with you on that one. I thought he did a very good job.
Yeah, Fred again. He goes through these spells where his effective side is allowed, or not necessarily allowed, but pushed to the fore. And I thought we saw that against Chelsea. Very tenacious, very good at closing down, very good at pressing, very good at pushing opposition, and he's been allowed a slightly higher role under Carrick. It seems like the pressing against Villarreal last week for United's first goal was excellent. On the edge of their box, he's pressing from there. I think it was a free kick, but the goalkeeper's taking a free kick inside the 6-yard box or inside the 18-yard box, and Fred's on the edge of that box. I don't think you would have seen that under Ole. So
you got it at Chelsea as well. I don't know, we gave him a bit of stick for that chip, but he was high up the pitch, wanted to get the ball. Yeah, he just needs to know what to do when he gets it in those areas.
So I think if you can keep allowing him a bit more freedom, a little bit more sort of pushing up the pitch, so his occasional sort of ball sloppiness doesn't get exposed right in front of our defence, I think he can be very good. Fernandes, I think he's been quite poor recently. Probably the worst run, I think, of actual back-to-back performances he's had for a while, or maybe ever at United, just because of how good he has been. I think the quality's still there, and I think, you keep playing him and he's going to get goals and assists eventually. And then again, Sancho and Rashford. Rashford wasn't particularly excellent against Chelsea, but I don't think we have a better option on that side. And Sancho's finally coming into his own. I think he's been United's standout attacker in the last few weeks, certainly the last few games. He's got to keep his place, and I think I don't think you bench Ronaldo for 2 games in a row. So I think he will come back in as well.
No, it makes a lot of sense, that team. I can understand why you've picked Matic. Tellez as well. I think there's Luke Shaw had that concussion thing, didn't he? And we don't know what's quite going on there. And Maguire, I wouldn't expect Michael Carrick to drop Maguire.
No,
because he's back in the team now. He's available. Sorry. If this was Rangnick's first game officially, then maybe you might think, he might go with Bailly because he's not sort of beholden to Harry Maguire, and he might fancy. But I think Carrick, who's come from the same coaching obviously team as Ollie, will rate Maguire and will want to keep him in that team. Mm-hmm. So it all makes sense to me, that team, and mine's very, very similar. If you want to go to my team, I think there's only one change, which is just McTominay and for Matic, and it's purely. I agree with you about Matic. I just feel like maybe he might look at it and go, McTominay's younger, might have fresher legs than Nemanja Matic. Can he play again? I mean, he probably can because it's Thursday and it's not like it's not Sunday to Wednesday or whatever. But I have a sneaky feeling that Michael Carrick may just go for McFred because it's a bit more what he's used to, or what Ollie was used to. And then, you've spoken about all the others. I think Rashford, I think he needs just a run in the team. I think he's still he's been fits and starts at it since his operation. And I think once he gets going, we've seen glimpses of it. I think if we get Marcus Rashford back to his best, he'll be a massively effective player. And I'm hoping he can cause Arsenal problems for this game if he does play. Because I think Arsenal can get exposed at the back. Jadon Sancho, 2 goals in 2 games. Enough said. All the doubters have just been left with egg on the face. We've already spoken extensively about Cristiano Ronaldo. one thing we do need to I'm going to point out, because I've spoken about quite a lot of this, is defensively. We've spoken about everyone, apart from Wan-Bissaka quite a lot. And Wan-Bissaka's got, you spoke about him in the watch-along for the Chelsea game. I just feel like he's gone backwards a little bit. Yeah. And it's almost been overshadowed by the fact Luke Shaw's been worse and Harry Maguire's been worse. But Wan-Bissaka, some of his passing, as you were pointing out the other day, has been pretty woeful. Yeah. I just feel he needs to get back to his best, because there's talk already of maybe Tariq Lamptey being a target for Ralph Rangnick. I don't know if this is just people just looking at, Lamptey's good. You could probably get him. We're going to buy him, or maybe Ethan Laird, being called back from Swansea or whatever. But I think Wan-Bissaka needs to up his game a little bit, and hopefully he can do it against Arsenal. It's not very often I say this. I think it's the first time I said it in about a decade. Seem to have got their act together. They've been on a decent run, and also there seems to be and again, I don't say this very often about Arsenal Football Club, a little bit of positivity about them. You look at some of the young players they've got, Smith Rowe and Saka. They've sort of the drama around Arteta and the doubt seems to have settled for now just a little bit. They've had this decent run, like I mentioned, only the one loss in the last 5, and that was a footer. It's a big loss to Liverpool, but it is a Liverpool team, and I'm not going to start throwing stones in that particular glass house. But yeah, do you see that? Because obviously, you've been one of the foremost Mickey takers out of Arsenal, and rightly so.
Well, you say that actually, Jay, but I was one of the team that put together the GoFundMe, or was it the Change.org petition to keep Arteta in his job.
Well, you're to blame for this upsurging form.
Don't come to me and say I've got egg on my face because he's doing all right for a couple of weeks. I wanted him to stay. Arsenal fans wanted him out.
Yeah.
We said save Arteta.
Do you regret that now?
Yes. Quite frankly, in a word, yes. But I always had faith in him. And our these better than Arteta games that we played, they were just joshing.
Yeah.
But also, here's the other thing I want to say. Yes, they've won a few games and now he's world class, is he?
No, please don't.
I know you won't say that, but that's what it is.
Say.
It's like, they finally got their act together. Yeah, well, they have. But for what?
And also, if you can see some of the games there, I mean, some of them are tap-ins, aren't they?
Yeah, even we beat Newcastle and Leeds.
Yeah,
Watford less so.
Let's not get too giddy. It's a decent run.
So.
Yeah, but there's been a couple of sort of easy ones in there.
Yeah,
as well.
and as soon as they faced a good team, they got absolutely battered. Like, I'm not saying that they're not playing well, because they are, and I think we've got to start United's last 5 games against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Ole never won in the league against Arsenal, which is a mad stat.
Considering he won,
Ole games,
whatever he won against City, is it 3?
3 in the season. He beat Chelsea 3 times in the season as well.
I mean, to not lose to not beat an Arsenal team who have been pretty abject during the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. They finished 8th, I think, every time.
Yeah.
It's not a great record, that is it?
Whenever we play them, they're anywhere between 15th and 7th.
Yeah.
It's been rare to see Arsenal even on as good form as
and
they
look
are
at the
now.
lack of goals against them as well.
Yeah,
That's even more shocking. I mean, this is an Arsenal team that during that period were conceding goals left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
And yet we couldn't score against them.
Yeah.
It was just, it's baffling and deflating.
So I'm not trying to say, they're shit. Don't read into the fact that they're winning. They are winning games. They are looking definitely better than they have. There finally seems to be a bit of cohesion there where, like you said, the players seem to be believing what they're doing. The fans are now starting to believe in what they're doing as well, which is annoying. But also, let's not get carried away and act like they're back. Well, what? Because they're 6th and they've won 4 games in the last 5. It needs to be more than that. I think they went 20 games unbeaten when Emery first came in, and then he was sacked 18 months later. So I don't think we need to worry just yet that Arsenal are back to their best.
They do get carried away as Arsenal fans as well. It's like I saw Martinelli scored the other week, didn't he? I knew it. I saw Arsenal fans saying how he's better than Greenwood. I think, no, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Like, he was literally at United for a trial, and I don't think we kept him on.
And also, he plays like 1 game every 20 because he's fucking injured all the time.
Greenwood, who's just been voted like the 5th best player in Europe, whatever, is a generational young player. Sorry, is a generational talent. He is one of the ones you go. He's been since the age of 12. People have been banging on about him for a reason, and he's now one of sort of the most prominent youngsters around. Martinelli, like you say, he barely plays, and it's just I'm not digging out Martinelli. It's just that this whole thing of let's get carried. Aaron Ramsdale makes some easy saves look great, and all of a sudden they're talking about him like he's the second coming of Lev Yashin.
Yeah.
Do
you know how to make
about?
a save look good? Stand still until the ball is 1 foot away from you, and then dive. Do you know what a top goalkeeper does? And we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
Someone like Van der Sar, even someone like Petr Cech, if we're opening this up to non-United goalkeepers,
go on.
Petr Cech was brilliant at it as well. When someone's shaping up for a shot, you take a step or half a step toward the direction that they're most likely to shoot in.
Yeah.
And if you're really good, you can read them, and 9 times out of 10, you'll guess which way they're going, and you can take a step over and catch it, or take a step over and make a comfortable save. Ramsdale stands still and wait, and the balls are like 2 feet away from him, and he's like jumping his body out the way and flipping his hands up and throwing his legs through the air. Top goalkeepers don't save like that.
No.
He's saving to get accolades and Twitter people to say, is he even human? Yes, he's very much human because he moves out the way of the ball and then saves shots that are going down the middle of the goal, and all of a sudden he's a genius because he can stop balls going in the centre of the goal. Chill out. God. Does made in. Also, goalkeepers that wear short sleeve shirts, never trusted them.
No, I'm with you. He is one for the extravagant. He makes Joe Hart look positively normal.
Yeah.
With all that in mind,
Sorry,
I don't apologise. What do you reckon the score's going to be?
2-0 to Arsenal. No, not really. I think it's going to be really tight. We've seen those past 5. For some reason, we seem to have this mental block against Arsenal recently, and I just think it's going to be really tight. I'm going to go 2-1 United. Can't imagine.
We need a win, don't we?
Yeah,
really?
I think we'll go 2-1. If they beat us,
shocking they're above us.
They beat us. They go 8 points clear of us.
That's awful.
That's
you know, if you'd have said to me a few months ago, we'd be 8 points behind the leaders in the league, I'd have been disappointed. Let alone 8 points behind Arsenal. Yeah. That is just unreal. Well, it isn't unreal because it's real.
Yeah.
2-1. I'll go with. I don't know. I feel like I might draw. I don't like saying that. I feel like it might be 2-2. I hope I'm wrong, and I'd love to be wrong and we win. But I think it might be a draw, so I'm going to go with 2-2. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think the score's going to be. Don't forget, you can send in your score predictions as well to
paddockmatchday@gmail.com.
There you go. We've got loads going on as well. What have we got going on?
We've got loads going on. We've got the 12 days of Paddock Christmas giveaway. We are giving away a PlayStation 5. We are giving away vouchers, codes, Football Manager, FIFA, Deliveroo, merch, books, all sorts of prizes. Come in 12 days starting from Boxing Day, going till the 6th of January. And all you have to do to enter is be a member of our YouTube channel. Click the join button. The link will be in the description as well. Click that, become a member, and you're automatically entered. We do a random draw. One of the members is going to win one of those prizes every single day. And just because you don't win the first one, don't mean you can't win the last one. And just because you won the first one, don't mean you can't win another one.
We could win all 12.
PlayStation 5,
you're entitled to. So go and check out that. Check out as well the merchandise we've got, paddockmerch.com.
Yeah.
We've got Ralph Rangnick t-shirts. We've got Bruno Fernandes hoodies. We've got a lot. Go and have a look at that. And if you're not doing, subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers even. By the end of the season, I'm sure with your support we can do it. Yeah. Go and check him out, Joe Smith93, on your Twitter and all your socials. You know where to find me, Jay Motti. This has been Stretford Paddock Arsenal Preview. Thanks for watching.